You're on.
All right, welcome to this week, View to Street. This is John, and to my left we have Linda, Susie, and Debbie with Rescue Paws. And I see a couple pets here, and that's pretty exciting. And, we just kind of jump into it. I think I'm somewhat familiar, but for those that aren't, we'll just act like maybe somebody out there doesn't know at all what Rescue Paws is. What is Rescue Paws?
Rescue Paws is a nonprofit rescue group in a network of foster homes in the Cowlitz County area in southwest Washington. We've been in business since 2006 until in 2006. We probably rescued about 3,000 animals in that period of time, probably more. The animals that we save live in a network of foster homes. I, for example, take care of cats, and our little visitors tonight are two of the kittens that are living in my home. This little guy here is Ken Black,
Very
and
cool.
Debbie has Reba McIntyre. They are part of a litter of a mama and 5 kittens that came to me about 3 weeks ago now, and they had a few health problems, which is what we often encounter if we rescue kitties that have been outside in the street, have been abandoned, and they're all doing pretty well right now. They're not quite big enough to be spayed or neutered, and we won't adopt them out until they are. Susan has a few fosters, but I've had them forever.
I have 5 older adult cats that have come back to me for some reason or another. And we take back all of our animals. If you adopt an animal and for some reason you cannot keep that animal, we will take it back. We have a phone line, and I answer the phone line, and it's 673-7373.
360.
360.
Yes, we have to remember that we may have viewers who aren't right here in southwest Washington.
And we get calls from people from up north, Bainbridge Island, Kitsap County. We have people calling us from lots of places. So we take, because we get pets that people think that are just absolutely cool, which they are. So most people,
Is there a way they can go online and see the network of pets that are available, or?
Definitely, they can go to, we have several sites. We have petfinder.com, we have
Adoptive Cats. There's rescueme.org. I believe our webmistress is posting to that one. And what we're finding is happening now is there's a number of other sites out there, none of which I can remember at the moment, who go around trolling among the existing sites and pick up the best looking of all the adoptable animals and list them.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, that's great, and we love getting inquiries. The problem is that when one of them gets adopted, and our webmistress takes them down off the sites where she posted them, unfortunately, those other sites aren't necessarily paying attention. I had a pair of Maine Coon mixed cats, Daisy and Rowdy, were about 6 years old and had to go together. And they got adopted to a wonderful home up in, I believe it was Lacey, Washington. And I'm still getting inquiries about them because somewhere out there on one of those websites, they're still listed, and I have to write to the people, and I always answer them and say, I'm really sorry. Those 2 cats have been adopted, but we can help you find a cat if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, we have lots of cats. And in this time period, we are getting kittens just are coming out of the woodwork. This is the time when kittens are born, and people come home and find 3 kittens on the front steps or in the country where they've been dumped off.
Sure.
And that's really hard because we don't have a lot of fosters that can foster the cats. So if you'd like to foster an animal too, we would love to have come down, fill out an application, and we'll check you out. And you can come down and foster kitties, foster dogs.
Wow, that's great.
And, yeah, we have all sorts of options.
So now, I think earlier you guys mentioned that you're a no-kill.
We are a no-kill.
So, which I think is great. Along with that, I would assume that means that there's some expenses, obviously, to run the organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you got food and all that sort of stuff. So do you guys hold fundraisers? Do you guys have a way for people to donate funds and/or items such as food and things like that? I mean, how does that work?
Well, we take all donations, and we have some people that give us donations of food and stuff like that. And they'll come through. We also take donations of money. Time. Yeah, Debbie's
Oh,
one of
sure.
our volunteers. She cleans at Petco on Sunday mornings. She can tell you about that. But we always use donations.
Well, let's talk about our association with Petco then.
Okay.
We are an adoption partner with the Petco store in the Triangle Center in Longview. So they have a display area that was built there when they built the store, in which you can show cats. And you could nominally put 6 cats in there, and once in a while we do, but most of the time, the cat was being crowded. We put in about 4. And we'll leave each cat in there for about a week, and then it's foster care and take home with another one in. So that goes on all the time. Then in addition, we come in on Saturday, set up a couple of tables and 4 crates, and bring in additional cats, and set up a couple of puppy pens, and bring in up to 6 or 8 small dogs, and sometimes they're medium sized. We don't have a whole lot of ones like mastiff size, because we really don't have anybody who can foster dogs that big. So, then there is a donation bin out in the front lobby of Petco, and anybody who wants to donate food or litter for the kitties can come in and put it in the donation bin for us.
That's great.
We have a donation jar there on a table on the Saturdays. We also will be having to take a check. We have a mailing address. It's 1105D, 15th Avenue, number 118, Longview, 98632.
And it's just a place where we get mail. I've had a lot of people call up the line and say, I lived here and there was nobody there, and it's just where we get our mail. We're usually at Petco on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays when we have a weekend. And then we get our, usually we have an email address where someone can contact us on whichever pet is.
Yeah, typically in the listing, they give the email address for the foster parent. But we have a General Rescue Paws email address, and that's rpaws@hotmail.com. But back to Petco. So we have cats in there, and we have litter boxes, and we have food bowls, and somebody has to come in and clean up after them. And guess what? That's what Debbie does. She comes in faithfully every Sunday. And why don't you tell a little bit about what you do, Debbie?
Okay, I come in every Sunday for 4 years now. I stick the and I put the divider up so that the cats can escape as I do each container. And I brush the little round cubbies, the little cubby holes that they scoop down or sleep on. And I brush them. I just put my guitar and shoulder water, shoulder food, and disinfect the whole thing, and go from one to the other until it's done. Ow.
They had need their nails clipped.
Yes.
Cecily, can you slide over the hands? We just had another of our volunteers has come in. This is Cecily. Cecily is one of our most faithful Saturday volunteers. She comes every Saturday. Sometimes she cleans. Most of the time she helps with the dogs, and it's just a wonderful gopher for anybody who needs. Take this here, go get that, move this cat here.
Josie, clean this up.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She is just our awesome volunteer. So she knows every dog's name, and see, I don't know the dogs that well. I don't have dogs in my house. I have cats. But I can come in and say, Chesley, what's this dog's name? And she'll say, you know the name. She'll say how old it is. She tells me everything about it, and it's really great to have her there because she really helps a lot.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. The customer says to me, you know, what about that dog? I said, I don't know anything about dogs. Yes, with Chesley. So,
Yeah.
she's indispensable.
So what kind of dogs do you guys have right now?
All kinds, usually mostly terrier mixes and Chihuahua mixes.
Cool.
We have 3 Reds and 3 Jack Russells,
Yeah.
and they're full of energy.
Oh, I bet.
And 2 of them have to go together. Daisy and Ruger have to go together because they're bonded. They've been together, and
That would be hard, yeah. I would think that
Yeah,
would be hard,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, particularly with Jack Russells, if you know anything about dogs, they have about as much energy as a 3-year-old, and they just go, 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 go.
Wow.
so tell me more about what you do in the taking the litters.
And sweep the litters and, disinfect. Play with the kitties. And sweep the floor, wash the windows. Yeah, just show them what the time. And then when people come by to look at the kitties, a lot of times I pretend I'm a cat. And I do this. And sometimes people walk by and go, hey, I look at that funny looking cat. So give a king tossed in there as well.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun. I really like it.
She gets to meet the cats, and then she'll always ask me, did Eric get adopted?
Yeah.
Did the little yellow one get adopted? And I'm like, oh yeah, or something. So it's
Yeah,
really
she-
nice that she comes in and does that. So we don't have to.
Yeah.
And he takes care of my cats at home too. So it's really nice. It's really nice when they go away. I know that they're going to be fed and they're not going to be starved anymore.
I've got my own little zoo at home.
Yeah, she has a zoo at home as well. You have how many?
2,000.
Yeah, you know, for a very small group like ours, there's 5 of us in town. Our volunteers are critical. We simply couldn't do it without all the volunteers. And we need to have at least one person coming to that typical facility every day. I mean, ideally, we have 2, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. But we don't always get them. So we appreciate those volunteers, and some of them, like Debbie and Barbara, have been with us for a long, long time. And it sure makes my life a lot easier because I'm the one who's supposed to find people to play.
Yeah.
Plus, if they need a mailman.
Yeah, and Debbie has done the sub for us, so now we've got other people who I can call if there's a problem. One of our volunteers lives within walking distance, and it's really handy to have her on days when the roads are really bad, because she can put on her boots and walk
Oh,
over
sure.
it.
I don't know here. I live in Paso. I don't drive. I don't know. So I put on
Yeah.
little shorts and hike on them.
Right on.
I wear shorts all the time.
Nice.
I'm crazy. Wearing shorts.
Like, I have to wear my pants when I clean.
Yeah.
I was told no flip-flops.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
No, that's
I
okay.
was just thinking, look, it's not mine.
Yeah.
I
Don't worry
keep on
about
that
it.
silent.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Mine's on silent now, so we'll be next, right?
Yeah, Susan and Debbie and I talked a lot about cats. That's what we do, but we don't want to forget that we have a lot of dogs, and they need homes too. Although it's been my observation that in Cowlitz County, dogs are more popular than cats. And I talked to a fellow that used to work in Crypto one time. I said, look at this store. Look how much space is given over for dogs and look what there for cats. And he said 70% of our sales are dog related items.
You gotta go to the market.
You go right,
Yeah.
you go but cats in Cowlitz County have hard.
In fact, I saw something kind of cool yesterday for dogs, and I'm not aware of another place in town you can do this. I was over at Pie Trio's Pizza, and they've got a sign in their outdoor area that it's a dog-friendly area. And I asked them, I'm like, so you can, and they said, yeah, you can bring your dog here, not a problem. So I thought that was kind of unique. I know a couple of pubs in Portland that do that, and again, it's outside only, obviously, you know, unless the service is a little inside. But yeah, I thought that was, kind of neat.
Yeah, yeah, we have some dogs. We have one dog that came from Greece, and her name is Susie. And she is a pointer mix. Yeah.
Okay.
And she has been adopted a couple times and brought back. One time she was adopted, I probably should tell this story. She was adopted. We left her in the car, and she chewed up a $600 seat. So they replaced the seatbelt, took her out again, left her in the car, and she chewed up that one, and then they brought her back. And I thought, oh, Lord, much.
Some people have a very slow burn.
Yeah, and so, but she's just absolutely the sweetest dog. She's just a sweetie. Chilly talked about her, just adore her.
She's real sweet. She acts as if she is scared of her. She really doesn't know much about people and other animals. She actually came with a friend that was a lab named Sally, and her friend got adopted, and she's still there, and her main reason that she's still there is she's such a good dog, and it seems to be a town with lots of little dogs. She's a pointer.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's found never colored. And she's darling, sweet dog.
Well, this last time she came back, she was adopted out, or they already had a small dog. And it turned out that she didn't like the small dog. So now we're saying she has to be probably an older dog, or a little dog her own size. And sometimes you just don't know these things until the animal gets out and home. We have to tell people, well, the way it's acting here isn't necessarily the way it's going to act when you get it home, because that's a different environment.
And that's one thing that really kind of drives me crazy, because we'll tell people, when you get a cat, separate that cat from the other animals for at least a week. Let them play underneath the door with paws and stuff like this. Rub the cat down, put that scent somewhere, and let the other cat do that, and then rub the other cat down, and put that scent in with the cat. And let them get used to the scent. Don't just let the cat out and go for it, because usually the other cat will be the dominant cat because it's his home or her home. And so, but 3/4 of the time you tell people the cat in here and try this for at least a week. They don't do it, then the cat will hide for a week and they'll never see it. Or the cat will do like my Gus did, cry all night. And he didn't know where to go in his box or anything like that, so he hid outside his box. And it's just really hard out there. And when they're coming from an area where they're used to being there, it's just, really hard.
Yeah, and this town, this whole town, has a whole lot of what we call community cats. These are cats that don't have homes, They live usually in colonies and sometimes kind people feed them. But if nothing is done to help them, they do what nature tells them to do, and they keep having more and more kittens and more and more cats, and all of these animals aren't healthy. They're outside. They pick up fleas and other parasites. So we started a program several years ago with the Feral Cat Coalition of Oregon to have them come up to Longview with a mobile searching program. That program lasted about 4 or 5 years, and in that time, we probably spayed or neutered something like 1,000 cats.
Great.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we were volunteers at that. And then the people who were running it burned out, and there was nobody found to run it. But in the meantime, the Feral Cat Coalition of Oregon, they do a fantastic job of fundraising. And they were able to raise enough funds that they now have a stationary clinic in Portland. And so people can take their feral cats down there. They ask for about a $35 donation per cat, for which the cat gets sterilized, gets treated for things like ear mites, fleas, gets rabies shots, get a first shot, and then all they do is ask the person to sign a contract that they'll take the cat back, release it where they found it, and feed it. And so then these cats can live out a safe and healthy life. But we have so many cats. People say, "Oh, I can't afford to get it fixed." Oh dear, poor me. And since I'm representing Rescue Paws, I really don't want to say what I'm but what I'm thinking is, and do you smoke?
I said that to somebody. I said that to somebody on the phone. I was so irritated because there was a person that kept calling and asking for food. And she would call every single month. And so I got on the line one day and I said, "Do you smoke?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "You know, if you were to stop smoking for 1 week, you'd have enough money to buy food." And she got real huffy with me and said, "So I don't like your talk. I don't like your tone of voice, and I don't like this talk." And I said, "Well, you know, I'm sorry, but I don't like yours either." And she hung up on me. But I had just gotten to that point where I had it because they think that, you know, that they can call us and we'll take their cats in and fix them and we'll pay for food. And I have no problem paying for food for somebody if they're trying to get by and they can't make it and they don't have that extra money. But sometimes when they get really happy with me on the phone, I'll say something. I don't do it very often because they don't know. Well, I know I asked.
How many's in a cart? How many's in a cart? Yeah, I've driven around, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, I can honest. It's like when I see a sign, I want to say they're like $8 or $9 a pack, so $9, $8, that's my guess.
Yeah.
Multiply that times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty big investment.
Oh, definitely.
Well, no, and the same people who make those kind of bad decisions are going out and buying. Well, I don't mean to demean the soda pop people, but
It's true though, soda's horrible for you.
soda is not good
Never
for you,
over
and
it,
it's
right?
not necessary.
No.
They buy lottery tickets, but you're just throwing away their money.
Very true.
Junk food.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it kind of gets the priority. It's kind of like what you're saying. You know, most people have, you know, a case like $35, especially. They've got the $35. You know, most people. I'm not saying everybody, but most people.
Well, and the Humane Society has a great deal. You can get a cat neutered for $35. The Humane Society, and I think shots are like $10. And you can get a cat spayed for $50, and you cannot find that any cheaper anywhere. And that's a great thing to do. And if you can spray have that much, you know, it's just awesome.
well, you have to be able to prove your low income.
Yeah.
And what that takes, I'm not really sure.
I was trying for, if you go to your own gas, they give you $10 for a bond, $20 for a girl. they finally said I didn't have enough of you don't go back. If I'd had 4 to 5 cats fixing them, I'd pay you something a lot of money. Just it was cheaper to fix them than it is to run into them.
Absolutely.
And I thought this mom, she had 5 litters before I finally caught her. She was sterile. She's in the house now. I still have 10 of her cats in the house. And everybody's fixed. Everybody goes to the doctor when they need her. They get their shots. They get their advantage next week. You know, they don't, the ones outside, they don't wander off. They just go to my house to look for them. And they just help me. They follow me around and they run home.
And yeah, and we specify for cats that they're to be indoors only. And some people really question that. And I explain that these are kitties that live in our homes. They're really attached to them. And we don't want to send them somewhere where they're going to get out, they get run over, or get caught by a coyote, or you know what.
Yeah.
And when they say, well, no, I can't one lady, I have a litter box in the house. I say, well, go to the Humane Society if you need, you know, because they're not as particular, and moreover, since they're a kill facility, anytime you adopt from them, if you're a cat, you're saving a life.
That's a good point.
You can adopt them, and that makes a place for another kitty.
Yeah, and that's some stuff I always tell people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And there are ways around that having the cat only outdoors. You can build an outdoor enclosure. You can leash train them. My cat Charlie is leash trained,
Oh, that's good.
and he loves going for car rides. So
Wow, right on.
We took our
I
cats.
can't say his name for my cat. He screams in the cars and I'm trying to count.
Oh yeah, I took we used Nancy on
Try not to do that.
and a halter, and I take her out. And she loved it. She would just wander around everything. And when I try to bring her in, she would turn into her cat from now. And I would pick her up and bring her in, and she would start growling and stuff. And I could get the leash off her, but I had to leave the harness on her because she would rip my arm. So after about an hour, she calmed down, and I could take the harness off of her and stuff. So, but I do have a cat enclosure outside for my fosters, and oh, it's just wonderful. I love it. I love it.
I got lucky with a cat one day. And I don't have a cell phone, and I don't know how, the garage door was closed, and I didn't know.
I could close you a long time.
Yeah, so I don't have a cell phone, so I'm like, all right, I'm curious. So what I had to do, she didn't have the donkey door, key door. So I had to like go to that outside with her like, then finally I decided, oh, if I just turn this little knob, it
That's funny.
When my cat door, it's lucky she's so tiny because, gosh. Oh, yeah, I just laughed.
I know, I took advantage of being
Well,
oh, my car was there, where'd she go?
I know, but you would have had air conditioning, you would have had heat if you needed it, so, yeah, you need to count it, yeah.
So do you guys do any fundraisers throughout the year? Or anything like events or anything like that?
But we really should.
Okay,
I
just
you know,
curious.
I
Wanted to plug
really,
that if there was one coming up for
yeah, I really wish we could do something like, we just
don't have the energy.
we're
Sure.
flying
Yeah, you guys
over.
spend too much time chasing around animals and feeding them and getting them cured and safe and everything else.
Well, and it's so funny because one of our directors, she took in 6 kittens, but they were my 6 kittens. They were under my name. There was peanut butter and jelly, Sprite and Pepsi, and mac and cheese. And she had this beautiful wooden cabin on Klamath River. And she wasn't used to having kittens. And she would have them in one room, and she had them in a cage. But when she let them out, she would take cat food and go like this on the table. And most of them would come to Mac. He would come, and so she'd have to chase him down. But she couldn't. She had him for probably about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then she called in and she says, "You've got to take them. They're driving me crazy." She hadn't had kittens for so long that you know, it was just driving her crazy. Her 8-pound dog, Dakota, would pick the kittens up and carry them around the house.
Oh, wow.
And And at first, the kids would just spit at him. They'd see him, and he'd just look at him like, oh, right on, and walk away. And after a while, he got used to him, and he got used to him, and he'd pick him up and carry him around the house. So
That's pretty
it was really pretty cute. Yeah, it was mac and cheese, yellow ones, and Sprite Pepsi with just pork and beans. But they were calico, and then peanut butter and jelly were kind of like an Abyssinian. They're all 6 of them were different. They were mac was orange and cheese was orange.
Oh, yeah, mac and cheese. Well, I have the orange that is cheddar. He's probably close to 5 now.
wow, good sized cat.
Then I have another one from the mom I picked up and kittens her last litter. Got 6. 5 girls and 1 boy. I got the girls adopted and kept them on. He's like tuxedo. Oh, okay. Quincy must be about 23 pounds.
I guess was 20.
Yeah, but he's just like picking up his long child.
Yeah, well, Gus was over 20 pounds, and he had to go on a diet. I heard that.
Who's there?
Overweight cats have a tendency towards diabetes.
Oh, I can see that.
And if an overweight cat should stop eating all of a sudden, it's extremely important to get that cat to the vet because they can lose weight so quickly. And cats will hide their diseases. They'll hide if they're sick, and they won't show signs. But if a cat that's a big cat stops eating, it's very important to get them to the vet right away.
Yeah, they get a liver condition.
Yeah.
It can be fatal if it's not taken care of.
It's too big for him. Pretty sure
Well, Gus would go around. I would be bowls out. I have 3 places where I have food, and he would go to one dish, and then he'd walk up to the other dish, and then he'd go to the other dish. He'd eat all he wanted from every dish. And finally, I just had to put it away, and I feed it in the morning and I feed it at night. And that's the same with everybody else.
Yeah, and we get, like Susan say, and we get these people calling out of the blue. Can you give me some advice about my cat? Some of them probably want advice about a dog, but they don't call Susan or me. They might call Cam, one of our volunteers, who's quite honest, they're not dogs, they're Paula or Shelley. But, yeah, we get some interesting phone calls, and we meet some wonderful people who come in and they volunteer, they do foster care, they help clean, they come in on Saturdays and help with the dogs. The dogs are quite a handful. And so we really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really nice because she has really able to take the dogs out for walks. And like I said, she knows each dog, and there's one dog that kind of is real shy with people, and she's got that dog, so that he doesn't nip at you anymore, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, that's Pee-wee. He's a little Chihuahua mix, and he's not kid-friendly. Probably needs to go to an older couple's house, and he's really playful, but it takes him a long time to warm up to people. And I almost want to take him home myself, but I can't. I've already got 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we have to keep them away from each other because she's kind of, you have 2 of our dogs. We have
No, I have
just like
one.
One dog.
I've got Cocker Spaniel, and I've got my Siamese cat that came from Paws. And we were going to send my dad's American Eskimo there because he could no longer care for her. But we decided it was best if she just stayed with us because she's an older dog and has several behavioral issues and health issues.
That's just crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, better, you know the history.
Yeah.
Take care of that.
Well,
These little guys aren't being very entertaining, are
No,
they?
kittens, man, they're pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
They're just crap. Yeah. They're so funny because when they are at home and stuff, they act so differently. And they play and play and play, and they're just like little kids. They play and play and they crash.
Yeah.
And then they're out.
All or nothing.
Yeah, yeah. They're just out.
Let's remind everybody how they can find you online. If you got some websites, get a phone number. Are you guys on
Yeah.
Facebook, by the way?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
We
so
are.
we mentioned it earlier. So
Yeah,
that's good.
we are Rescue Paws on Facebook.
Okay.
And our number is 360-673-7373. And I usually answer the line, so you'll get me eventually. I'll call you back.
Yeah, please understand that's a voicemail only line. You can call that, leave a message, and Susan will get back to you. And remember, we're all volunteers. We're all doing other things besides Rescue Paws. Although most of my life is Rescue Paws, I have a group that is dedicated to kittens. So I have the 6 that Susan was talking about, and she got those kittens adopted about as fast as they got spayed or neutered. And I don't think that room had been empty 2 days when I got a call about these. And no, these were some that were rescued up in Vader, and Paula rescued them and asked if I could take them, and I said, sure, the kitten room is empty, that's what it's for.
Well, and it's so funny because Paula's kind of our leader, and we laugh at her because she'll tell us, do not take any more cats. You cannot take any more cats. We don't have room. If somebody calls us a line, you just cannot take any more cats. And so what she do? She calls them and she goes, I have 6 kittens. Would you take them, please? And she's just funny.
She loves the animals, and they absolutely adore her. The dogs, she brings these dogs in, and
if she goes out of their sight, they just panic. And
yeah,
it's like, where's mom? Where's mom? You know, it's just,
she just has a very, very special way, particularly with dogs. And, but I'm really partial to cats. Thank you.
Well, and we always had dogs. I always had dogs growing up. We had dogs when we first got married, and we had Penny for 16 years. And then we just got to the point where we have cats, and that's it. And I don't even get a service dog, so I want a service dog. My kids don't. So,
I know the large breeds are specialist experts to adopt now.
yeah.
It's always been my favorite. We have St. Bernard, which was the most recent.
Oh.
Or he says he's a big dog, and I'm like, no, you can see our Saints. So.
In college, I was a camp counselor in Seattle, and one of my roommates, one of the other counselors, had a St. Bernard, and she brought it to camp. And so we would have the dog and it would sleep outside the door of our cabin. And so when somebody would come to try to wake us up, the dog would know how to get out.
That's pretty funny. And they make a pretty good door.
Yeah, so it was really kind of funny because we'd hear somebody out there and we'd just think, oh, I don't want to get up, I don't want to get up. But it was always funny because they were afraid of the dog, and the dog was just like, he could care less.
That was ours. She would pull over the driveway and call and say, I don't know, I'm going to get out of the car. It's like, I don't know, it'll be fine.
And that's my biggest problem because I've never been afraid of a dog ever. And
tell the story about the dog in the car.
oh, years ago, I was driving, and I had worked at Mark Morris, and I wasn't working there anymore, but I had pulled up on 15th, right at the corner of 15th and Ocean Beach, and there was an Airedale, a huge Airedale running across the street. So I yelled at some kids to grab the dog and bring it over to me. Well, she jumped in my car, and so she jumped into the driver's seat of the car, and I couldn't get her out. And I was afraid that, well, I don't know this dog, she could bite me, she could do anything. And so she was sitting in the car, and I couldn't move her over so that I could take her to the shelter. So I called the shelter, and they laughed at me. Basically, they knew that I only cats now, and I kept saying, Joe, please send Ed out here to get this dog. Well, does it have a tag? I said, yes, and so rid of the tag, and they called the man, and the dog was deaf, and the man was probably in his 80s, and he comes over and he gets the dog out, and I'm like, I couldn't get her to move. And he says, well, she's deaf, and she would probably lick you to death. She wouldn't hurt you. But I didn't know that at the time, and so I'm like, yeah. But it was just hilarious because he just came out and got her, and he didn't even know that she had gotten out. So, oh my gosh, like, I'm thinking, what do I do? Here I've got this dog in my car. I can't go anywhere, and I didn't know what to do. But yeah, it worked out. So.
Every show we like to mention where we're at. We're at Leonard's Ice Cream Yogurt in Warren Commerce, 1232 Commerce. Great hamburgers and fresh hamburger patties. Need to order. We're talking fresh cut fries, hands ice cream shakes. You can do cones, waffle cones are handmade here. Lots of great stuff. And speaking of Lynn's, she's got 3 dogs. She's got 2 pugs and 1 pug. What is he?
Hannah is Pug, Beater Dog, Corky, and Beagle.
So a little bit of everything.
We have a puggle. We have a really cute puggle. Her name's Libby, and she's up for adoption.
Really?
There you go.
Yeah.
Full dog. I'm sure you want it.
Come and see her.
Nala is 9 months old.
Nala's 3 and 1.
Oh my
And
God.
we should say that all of this is in Longview, Washington.
Yes, they are in Long Beach, Washington, because they have people all over the globe that watch this. So
She
yeah,
looks like a
That's why I
pug,
think it's
but she's a little bit bigger than a pug, and
absolutely.
she howls like a beagle. She also barks.
Really?
Oh, she's just adorable. Her
Oh,
name
I'm
is
sure
Libby.
she is.
Yeah,
There you
her
go,
name is Libby. If you get off for a little bit Saturday, come visit, because she'll be at Petco.
You know, there's a lot of people who advertise that. There's tons of people looking for a anything pug.
Yeah, well,
I get
she's,
them in here all the time, and I used to be able to find a lot of them because I was kind of like the rescue pug ladies or people needed homes. They kind of find they don't have it anymore. You just cannot find them. When I got Nala, she came from Idaho,
wow.
Yeah.
and then Fiona
As a
came from
puppy?
California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have, I've adopted out 2 pugs, and it's really funny because I only usually adopt cats, but these 2 pugs found me, and one of them was Romeo, and he was a tan, and I just fell in love with him. Dad kept him for me, and I found him the best home. He's in Oregon, and he has a little sister named Abby, who's another little pug. And she came up, and they just fell instantly in love, and he's now named as Tater. He's Tater.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had Olive, who was a black one, and she was really cute. She went just really fast.
Oh, they're wonderful pets.
Oh,
they're
they're
smart as can be.
They're so
Smart as
cute.
can be.
They're so
They're good watchdogs. You wouldn't think
Oh.
that they're watchdogs. But I'll tell you what, they don't miss a thing.
Yeah.
They let you know when somebody's out front or when there's something going on.
Yeah. Well, Libby is a puggle. So if anybody comes in and asks, we have a
How
puggle.
old is she?
Are
you
She's 4.
See, this is
4.
why we have totally. She's 4.
Bugs have that head tilt. As soon as you start talking to them, they just immediately tilt their head like they're listening to you.
Oh yeah, they act like they really know what
Yeah,
you're
they're
talking
pretty-
about. They're not
they're
really
amazing
not
dogs.
supposed to.
Yeah.
Really.
Now, if this is
No,
going,
yes, the others no.
this is going all over the world,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
need to know,
yeah.
wherever you are, there's a rescue group of some kind
Oh, good.
that's working to save the lives of homeless animals. There's an outfit called Best Friends they're headquartered in southern Utah. They're probably 30 years old now, but they have been providing leadership in all over America and now all over the world for reducing the numbers of animals that are killed in shelters simply because they don't have a home. There's nothing wrong with them. There's just no space for them.
And they take cats, dogs, pigs, birds, horses, everything. And
North Shore is North Shore is on Long Island. Yeah. And so the world is changing now for homeless animals. There's a whole lot of people like us who care a lot about saving their lives. There's still something like 7 million animals killed every year for no reason other than there's no place for them. And really my dream, which probably won't happen in my lifetime, is to get to the point where a place like our Humane Society and Animal Shelter exists only as a place to house animals until their owners come to get them there. Because you're always going to have animals who get out, run away, whatever. Or sometimes for genuine reasons people need to recall them. This was Grandpa's dog and Grandpa died and nobody can take care of him. And Grandpa's dog comes to you already fixed and up to date on his shots.
Sure.
So, you know, we do hear when people call us about recalling one of their animals, sometimes there is a really, you know, good story. They have a genuine reason why they need to do it. Some of them, I'm sorry, are just not very helpful and they really haven't made much effort to solve the problem. You know, we're moving and we can't take it because they won't allow pets, and that's another soapbox issue of mine.
Or the dog is aggressive and they want us to take him. Well, we can't take in an aggressive dog
Sure.
because we'd be liable if the dog bit somebody.
Sure.
And so that's my gripe.
Yeah. Well, if you look through the rental ads in the paper, about half of them will say no pets.
Sure.
And we had one gal came in here crying. She'd adopted a cat from us. The property had been sold to somebody else, and somebody else says you can't have a pet. There probably, if she had been a more mature person, she's just a kid. There's probably ways of fighting that, but so we took the cat back. But you know, it's like we're moving and we can't take our dog. Well, why didn't you find a place where you could have a dog? There are places you can have a dog. But it is sad, and I want to tell these landlords, you know what? My cats won't do half the damage that a couple of children would.
Yeah.
And that,
Or my cats are my therapy. You know, I get it every morning. I have MS, and I get it every morning. And I know that I have to go into the cattery and clean and feed 5 cats. And that keeps me going. Every morning I do that. And every night I do it. And I know that I have to do it, and nobody else is going to do it except you.
I think it's tough on the landlord things. I know a few landlords and I've seen the damages after a dog or something, but I think it's like anything. It's like not all dogs are bad, not all humans are bad. Humans will mess with places they move out too. And I'm not exactly sure what the answer is there.
Well, it's more irresponsible. It's not the animals.
No, it's very true because people train the animals. You know,
And they can train the animal.
exactly.
There's lots of people out there teaching dog obedience classes. There's lots of ways to divert cats from scratching on the wall.
Except declawing. Do not declaw. Declawing is amputation of the first knuckle of the cat's paw. It's extremely painful. Cats become biters, and as far as I'm concerned, I would rather be scratched by a cat than bit by a cat, because a cat does more damage to you than they're bit.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they become, like I said, biters. They will not use their litter box sometimes because they don't like to feel on their feet. And so to me, I look at this little thing in front of me and I just think, you know, yeah, I take these little razor claws every time. And if God forbid the cat should get out and get cornered by something, and you know, it doesn't have any way to protect itself.
But we do get cats that come to us already declawed. We have one right now. Siamese.
Oh, she's beautiful.
He's a beautiful cat. He went home with a large family that has, there were 2 kittens, and I guess
Mac and cheese.
yeah, mac and cheese, and he just
Oh, that's right, he went with that.
couldn't cope with the dog and the kids and the kittens, so he needs a quieter home. And it could, who knows how much the leaf blowing might have contributed to that.
We're getting kind of towards the end here, and we have Cody who wants to do a shout out. He does every show. But before we do that, just make sure we have any wrap up thoughts. Also, of course, we're going to get those websites, phone numbers, addresses out.
Okay, the phone number is 360-673-7373.
The email address is rpaws@hotmail.com. I believe a website is associated with Pet Finder, but George has been making some changes, and I'm not quite up to date on what those changes are. But you can always email us at rpaws@hotmail.com. We do have a Facebook page, Rescue Paws, and we're at Petco in Longview every Saturday from 11 to 3 with additional animals. And we'd be glad to have you come in and meet us, talk to us, adopt an animal, offer to volunteer. We love our animals and we want to find good homes for them.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys. It was great.
Yeah.
Cody, I know you've got a wrap up here, and then you've got some shout outs and whatever else you got to throw out there to the group
Shout out.
as we're approaching
Unfortunately.
top of the hour. So.
No doubt, right? Top of the hour. Top of the hour.
He has a list.
He has a list. He always has a list. You want to take a seat?
It's up to you.
Hey, you know what? I'll let you. Yeah, go for it.
Never gonna happen, Cody.
Oh, Cody, behave yourself.
Yeah.
Bye.
Before I do a shout out, fair's coming up this week. Starts Thursday, runs through Sunday. We're also doing Feet on the Street t-shirts. If you would like one, get a hold of Candace or Ray, or email feetonthestreet@hotmail.com. I think that's still the email.
Yeah.
Now, shout outs. Oh, wait. Next week's guest,
Jenny.
Jenny.
Well, she's, I can't say her last name, it's a long name.
Jenny with the long last name.
She went for office?
She's with, she's a squirrel from.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh,
She's a squirrel from
Cuscione.
Squirrel Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuscione. Yeah,
Something like that.
yes, Jenny. Oh, Jenny.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at Jenny because I can't pronounce that.
Yeah, Cuscione. Thank you. Yeah.
The host is, I do believe, Ray.
As of
So
right now.
far, that's what we've heard. That's the word on the street. I think that's all that's coming up.
Stageworks still has that play going.
Oh yeah, Stageworks has the play
At the cannery, called Cannery.
called The Cannery. Again, I think this is the last weekend. I think this is the last weekend, so go and see it. Little kids can sit towards the front row to throw popcorn at the bad guys.
Good. And big guys do.
Possibly. I think so. Get to throw it at the bad guy.
I would like to give it.
It'd be fun.
I'd like to do it.
So other than that, I think that's it for.
I think so.
Yep. Oh, the rodeo.
And there's rodeo
The rodeo comes up
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. So during the fair. All right, shout outs. Ray from Longview, Dane from Germany, Ann from Longview, Rachel from California, Elisa from Kelso, Aaron from Vader, Michael from North Dakota, Renee from New Hampshire, Connie from Cleveland, Connie from Winlock, Debbie from Vancouver, Kristen from Longview, Darcy from Longview, Gail from Australia, Vitalis from Kenya, Marth from Tacoma, Susan from England, Jamal from Africa, Steven from Oregon, Rich from Seattle, and TJ from the Midwest.
Great. We're reaching a lot all over the world.
Yes, and it's growing every week.
Yes.
Thanks to you too.
Great.
Well, we love coming down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do it
Every week,
He said that he has.
every Tuesday.
I'm not doing it, not to come in, but I love it. She does massage.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And I've known her for a long time.
Hearts on massage.
Yep, Hearts on Massage.
I was just thinking, do we need a mascot for Rescue Paws? Abby would be the perfect one.
Yeah, you should, yeah. Bring her. You could bring her.
Well,
I think about that.
These guys here,
They're crashed.
they just crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Campus will send me a link.
Well, usually Candace will send links, but if you're not at the show, you can log on to YouTube and type in youtube.com/Feet on the Street Rocks, and it will pop up with the new show, which is the one that's playing right now.
It's us.
Yes.
Thank you, John, for hosting this week.
Thank you, it was fun.
Thank you, lovely ladies, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. And our kittens say goodbye.
Remind people how important it is to take care of our homeless little kitties and doggies.
Yeah.
Spay and neuter, spay and neuter.
And I think John already covered it, but want to thank Glenn again this week for letting us use her. I am not. I do not suck up.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, join us next week at 6. Come before 5:30 for dinner. Thank you to our audiences, people.
Next week, Jenny.
And next week, like I said, is Jenny with Ray hosting.
But that'll be fun.
Sayonara. Oh, I gotta shut it off.
Turn us on.
Yeah.